Hi, all my YouTuber friends. How are you doing today? Welcome back to the Lepage Urban Homestead. I know it's been quite a while since I made a video, but I've decided I'm gonna start making some videos on series on gardening, on especially in this time with what's going on in the world, all the COVID-19 and stuff, and people talking about food shortages. I think we should start to think about growing our own food. Now, we've lost our home to a flood about a year ago, so we're staying with family right now. But we're fortunate enough that we were able to get a little piece here of their property, and so we can do some gardening, which is awesome. And I want to show you that with just a little space, and if you don't have any seeds, what you can do just start. I know it's late in the year to start doing some stuff now, depending on which part of the world you're in. Like us here, I'm in Canada, so there's not too many stuff you can start planting at this time of the year. But if you're fortunate enough to be living in the south or the place where you can do more, and then this might help you. Even if you only have a balcony or just a little corner place, you'll see that you're able to grow a little bit of food, even if it's a little bit. Every little bit counts, and that's why I want to show you. And luckily enough, I have the help of my son, who helps me, and because I have a memory issue, so everything I do I have to write down so I remember everything. But let me show you. I'll stop babbling on and just I'm going to show you what you can do. So I'm going to show you what I did here. Just sorry for the shaking. Just uh, the heart of a romaine lettuce that we bought from the store. And then what you do is you just cut it, and you keep the bottom about, I'd say, 3/4 of an inch to an inch. And then you can just plant it in the earth, and you get what I'm about to show you in a minute. So this is what you get. This is just a 4-inch pot with earth in it. And all I did is, like I said, I took the heart of the romaine lettuce, left on there about an inch. For the first couple of days, we just left it in a glass of water with about an inch of water at the bottom, just so it can start sprouting. And then once the leaves start sprouting on the top, you just put it into a little container with some earth in it, and it grows. And what you can do with this is you can either let it grow all in one shot, and cut it and eat the whole thing and let it continue growing, or once the leaves big grows, you can come and take the outside leaves out. It's called come and cut and come again. You always take the bigger leaves, and always make sure you leave two. I always try to leave three leaves in the middle here, and you just take the rest off around. Just keep growing like it down. It's no seeds involved here. It's just a piece of lettuce, the heart of a romaine lettuce that I bought at the store, which is the bottom here. Just cut it there. It's in the water for a couple of days, so it start sprouting little leaves here. And then I put it in the earth. You don't submerge it all. You just sit it in the earth about half an inch, and you just keep watering it every day. You just make sure you water it. Now the next things I'm going to show you is kind of like this. This is, as you can tell, it's on the deck. So there we have lettuce growing, and then if you have some pots like we have here, then all you need to do is throw some plants in there. Now what I did in the beginning of the year, I started some cherry tomatoes, and I don't know if you can, there you go, look at those tomatoes. That's a, they're just loaded with tomatoes. And I got some marigold in there. My wife's got some marigold in there, and I threw a cherry tomato in the middle, and it's growing. It must have, I don't know, 40, 50 cherry tomatoes on there. Same thing with this one over here. Same pot, another pot, same thing. Now that's just 2 pots on a deck. And over here, I'm going to show you something else. You see that container there? The marigold in the middle, and when you see those little leaves at the bottom, I've got radishes growing all around it. That's on the deck still. This spot here, I have a cucumber plant growing, and a 4-inch spot started from seed, and still growing. What we have there is a container, and this one here has got carrots in it. What you have to do with carrots, you got to make sure that your soil is nice and fluffy and soft. It needs a lot of room, and you got, once you seed it, always make sure it stays moist so that it starts germinating. And as it germinates, because the carrot seeds are small, and so when you plant, you do have to thin it out, which I will do. And that's from seeds. But this, let me grab it here so we can see it better. That tomato plant there, all I did is, what I'm going to do after, we're going to do a garden tour just to show you what I do have. And that little tomato plant there that's starting is from a sucker. I don't know if you don't know what a sucker is on a tomato plant, I'll show you after. So I just cut the sucker and made sure that my soil was nice and moist, and put the plant in it. If you can see on the tomatoes, all that's little hairs here. Well, there's some at the bottom there. So that is, every part of that touches the earth is going to root out. It's going to create new roots, and you get a new tomato plant. I'm going to stop the deck tour here, and we're going to go down, and we're going to show you the garden tour, and I'm going to show you also another thing I started with store-bought produce. I'll be back in a second. So we're going to start the garden tour here. It's a little yard. It's just a quick tour here. I got all that area over there, which is, I'd say maybe 16 by 30 maybe. And then over here, all that area too, that was a flower bed we turned into a place to plant stuff. That's my wife's hanging baskets. She's got flowers, of course. Now here, in the big blue tote, I got 2 tomato plants in there, which are blooming. It's hard to see because they're not open right now, but they're blooming. And then at the bottom there is a watermelon. That's an experiment I'm doing. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we'll try. Keep you updated. And as we hit the garden bed here, these are all tomato plants. And then underneath here, I got some Swiss chard, some collard greens there. These are all blooming too. See this? I'll show you what a sucker is. I gotta come through here and take my suckers out because they are indeterminate tomatoes. When it's indeterminate tomatoes, you want to take the suckers out so they can keep growing higher. You want to train your plants, and then I'll do a video on that maybe later. But this is what I was talking about, a sucker. So you got your crotch here, right in the middle of the crotch there. That's a sucker. So if I cut this off, take it and put it in a pot with moist soil and water it every day, it would keep growing and make an all new plant. Like I'll show you what here. Look at those tomatoes, guys. That's another cherry tomato plant. I got carrots in there. Oh, carrots in there. You got a cucumber plant there. Tomatoes. tomatoes. Like these plants, like they're 4 feet, at least four, almost 5 feet tall right now. I've been pruning the bottoms, get the airflow going. It's very important to get the airflow so you don't get any diseases. I water these every day or second day. Now I'm not going to be watering them for a few days because we just had a lot of rain here, so we're not going to be watering for a day or two. What I do is I stick my finger in the ground, and if it's still moist and they're still thriving, then I give it water as it needs it. But that's just a little garden bed there. So if you would have just a little garden bed, and you could do this, you don't have to have so many tomatoes like I do. But I want to make tomato sauce and salsa. But yeah, and like I say, if I can do it, I have a thing called FTD. It's sort of the form of dementia. So some days I'm not out here doing everything I can, but my son is with me and he takes over. You can tell in my speech I have a hard time speaking. Sometimes I forget stuff. Sometimes I should say often. I forget names. I forget to take my medication. I forget. Sometimes I even forget to eat. But this is a passion for me, so that's why it's easy. And the one good thing about what I have is we get fixated on things, and I'm fixated on gardening. So that's why it's so good. And with YouTube, you can get all the information you want. Let's take a look at the other garden here, the main garden, I should say. You can see the potato fork there. I had potatoes here. They were thriving, they were doing good, but then we had a severe storm and hail and severe winds, and they broke all the stalks down. I wanted to see if they would come up and stay up, but they weren't. But I managed to dig about 5 pounds out of this row here, so which wasn't so bad. So if I go down to the end here, that too, like I said, was an old a flower bed. And now I got beans in there. As you can tell too, it's really shady, but this is all tomatoes, all this down this row. That's all of my tomato plants. We haven't picked the ripe tomato yet, but we picked about 4 or 5 cucumbers so far. This is all my cucumbers here. This one's about 5 feet tall. I got the 2 kinds in there. I got the slicers and the pickles. Let me see. Maybe you see down here. There's one there. There's one growing. They're growing funny. And with the weather this year, well, I almost lost all my plants. Even though I planted after they said there was the last frost, but then about first week of June, we had some frost here and almost killed all my plants. They came back. Like I said, it's easy to plant stuff. It's easy to learn about it, but it is work. Don't get me wrong. You still have to be out here every day taking care of your garden, weeding, stuff like that. That's all spinach there. These are purple beans, purple snap beans. They grow purple, and then when you cook them, they go green. And these are my yellow beans here. See if I can find one here. Not quite ready yet. There you go. There's one there. I have more beans here, and I have another row down there. I like beans. That's my zucchinis. They're blooming. I'm going to show you down there too. I'm sorry guys if I shake a lot. It's another container. That could be up on the deck. I have my radishes. I have them planted in successions. So what I do is I start at one pot 1 week, a week after another, and then a week after another, so we can have a constant source of radishes. They grow fast, radishes. This time of year it's hard to, because it's a cool crop. But the nice thing about container, you can move them around and put them in the shade, and they're still doing pretty good. They're bulbing out slowly. They're growing good. You got carrots in there. Let's have the beans again. You got green beans, yellow beans. No purple beans in this one. This is my lettuce. I got lettuce there. That's they call the iceberg. And then you got romaine there. I got some kale here, kale there, and I started some more here, but the heat got to it. It's been very. I got onions in the container here. See, all from seed. And I got down this row. I got more cucumbers and more tomatoes. Over here is all kohlrabi. This is all kohlrabi, which is good, just starting to bulb out. Some more zucchini there. And then at the end there's all beets. And then all that on that row is all beets. Lots of beets. I love pickled beets. So this was all started from seeds. Like, I didn't buy no plants. This was all started from seeds. But like I said, for the lettuce, like I showed you, you keep your crowns at the bottom ends, and you can regrow food from that. You can do the same with the celery. Keep the bottom inch. Celery too, you gotta be careful. They don't like the direct heat too much. I had one growing, starting to grow nice, but I had too much in the sun. Like I said, it's been in the 90 degrees here, 95 degrees here in Canada for us. It's not normal this time of the year. I'm going to show you something I have here, and again in a pot. That's what I'm about to show you. Look at these. They're pepper plants. And these, I started about 2.5 weeks ago. All I did is I cut a red pepper. I took the seeds from inside, put them in, and they're growing. But you got to make sure they're coming from your country. You got to check the rules and regulations from your country, because what happens is, if it goes from, I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me. I think if it goes like from the United States to Canada, they put radiation to it, so the seeds are not viable. And so, but this stuff is from where I live, from Canada, so it was grown here, so we're okay. So that's it for now. What am I? So that's it for now, folks. What I'm going to do is we're going to make some more videos. I'm going to take some more produce that I bought from the store, and I'm going to start growing some. I have a bug on me here. Growing some seeds from the store-bought produce. I'm going to have some cherry tomatoes. Like I said, try tomato. I'm going to do a bunch of stuff. Show you different things. We're going to show you how I make a cheap trellis here for nothing but. I had some old tomato cages that I used, but the other trellises I made myself, and I'll show you how to do that. We're going to do some videos, try to update you on videos. Like I said, though, I gotta go with what I can do, and hopefully I can get 1 or 2 or 3 a week. We'll see. We'll see how the days go and how everything's going. So I hope you liked the video. If you do, don't forget to subscribe and like the. Helps us a lot here around here, and then till the next time, stay safe.